I knew something was wrong the moment my phone buzzed. This weird, jittery FaceTime call from my little sister, Princess. She never calls me in the middle of the day, let alone crying. She's always been the tough one, the kind who'll laugh in your face before ever letting you see her sweat. So when I saw her eyes red and her voice shaking, it was like the world went sideways. And let me tell you, nothing prepares you for that, but hey, let me back up a sec because this war, it didn't start the day the cops came barreling down our quiet street, sirens echoing off the mailbox. No, the storm had been building way before that. A long, ugly stretch of tension hiding underneath all those perfectly trimmed lawns and HOA newsletters fluttering in the breeze. You know what I mean? Anyway, do me a favor. Before you dive into this mess, drop your country or state in the comments. I want to see how far this wild story reaches because I guarantee you, it travels farther than Carla Charlotte's sense of shame. And believe me, that woman had none. So here's how it all began. About 2 years ago, Princess and I moved into Briarwood Ridge, thinking it was going to be a slice of suburban heaven. White fences, fresh-cut grass, folks waving from their porches, the whole American dream package. Only thing is, the real dream in Briarwood Ridge was just a mask for something rotten underneath. See, my sister's got spinal muscular atrophy. Yeah, she uses a wheelchair. And yeah, she's got more grit and humor and brain power than half the block put together. But to Carla Charlotte, self-declared queen of the HOA, none of that mattered. To her, Princess's wheelchair ramp was an eyesore. Her medical supply boxes disrupted the community aesthetic, and don't even get me started on the wheelchair van. Apparently, it was an attack on property values. I tried reporting Carla's harassment. Twice. Both times she just smiled, this smug, tight little grin, and said, "The HOA decides what's appropriate around here." Like she was the mayor, judge, and sheriff rolled into one, with a Bible and the rulebook in her purse. Things got weirder a month later when these two dudes showed up on our block. Black tactical vests, radios, boots, HOA security stenciled on their backs like they were Secret Service or something. No badges, just a lot of attitude and the kind of sunglasses that scream, "I peaked in high school." Princess told me those guys would watch her every time she went outside to water her plants, like she was some kind of criminal. I told her, just ignore them. Bullies always need an audience, right? But that Thursday, everything snapped. It was a normal day. Sun was out, birds chirping, Princess was on the porch, watering her little jungle with her favorite spray bottle. She loved those plants like they were her kids. I was halfway through the produce aisle at the store when my phone exploded with FaceTime, her face shaking, tears rolling down, whispering, "Come home. Please hurry." And then the camera spun, and I saw those two fake HOA cops looming over her, one with his hand gripping her wheelchair, the other screaming something inches from her face. I swear, there's a noise that only an older brother makes in a moment like that. I was in my truck and flying home, pedal floored so hard I think I left half my tires on Main Street. When I turned onto our street, what I saw nearly broke me. Two grown men, body armor, holsters the whole bit, standing over my baby sister, her face red, cheeks wet with tears, just shaking in her chair, hands up like she was bracing for a storm. I didn't even remember opening the door. I just remember running, the world going silent except for her voice in my head. "Don't let them touch me again." The skinny one turned, sneered at me, and said, "This is HOA business. Back off, civilian." Wrong line. Wrong day. I stepped closer, quiet as a bomb, and whispered, "You should have checked who her brothers are." What those guys didn't know was that I wasn't alone, not by a long shot. I could hear my twin brother's truck roaring up the street behind me. Navy SEALs both, trouble for anyone stupid enough to mess with family. The first guy, finally realizing I wasn't bluffing, went for tough talk, poking his fingers at me and spitting out, "Sir, step back. This is official HOA enforcement. Your sister refused our compliance check." I cut him off. "You touched her." He just shrugged. "All fake authority. We're allowed to use force if residents don't cooperate." I laughed. No humor at all. "You're not allowed to touch her. You're not cops. You're criminals." That's when the thin one made the dumbest move of his life. He reached for the pistol on his hip and pointed it straight at Princess. She froze, couldn't even scream, just went stiff with fear. Just then, screech, my brothers Elias and Caleb swung up in their truck. Doors opened before the engine even stopped. Elias, calm as the grave, leveled his pistol and said, "Drop the gun now." The fake cop twisted toward him, but Caleb was already moving, a blur of muscle and rage. He yanked the guy's arm, twisted the gun away, and slammed him down on the driveway, so hard I thought the concrete would crack. The gun bounced into the grass, the guy screaming. The bigger one panicked, fumbling for his weapon, but his hand shook so bad he dropped it. Elias moved like a shadow, sidestepped, chopped his wrist, sent the gun skittering across the pavement, then hooked the dude's leg and dropped him hard. 6 seconds, maybe less. Both fake cops face down on the concrete, one moaning, the other barely breathing. Caleb grabbed the skinny guy by the collar and hissed, "You laid hands on a girl in a wheelchair. You pointed a gun at her. Who sent you?" The guy whimpered, eyes huge, but Caleb slammed him back down. "Answer, or I break more than your pride." The big one cracked first. Carla Charlotte. "She hired us. Said the girl was causing trouble. Told us to scare her." My fists were shaking, my teeth grinding. Of course it was Carla, same woman who called the ramp an eyesore. Princess was sobbing, buried in my shirt, while my brothers stood over the 2 fake cops like they were waiting for a judge. And then came the real sirens, police, not HOA. Princess squeezed my arm, not even crying anymore, just watching as real justice pulled up for the first time in her life. Elias holstered his weapon. Caleb still had his knee on the guy's back. The lead officer, Sergeant Harlow, stepped out, took one look at the scene, guns my sister's face, the 2 battered men, and he just nodded cold and calm. I pointed at the big guy. He hit my sister, pointed at the thin one. He pointed a gun at her. And they said the HOA president sent them. Elias said they admitted it. Harlow's jaw tightened. "Both of you step back." Caleb stood up, brushing his hands off like he'd just cleaned garbage out of a drain. The cops rolled the 2 fake officers over. Illegal guns, fake badges, zip ties, and a set of written orders from Carla herself. Compliance target, Princess. Sergeant Harlow didn't hesitate. Both under arrest, multiple felonies. The big guy started sniveling. "We didn't mean to." Harlow cut him off. "Save it for the judge. You assaulted a disabled woman. You're going away for a long time." But that wasn't the end. 10 minutes later, a white SUV rolled into the cul-de-sac, polished to a mirror shine, gold badges on the plate. Out stepped Carla Charlotte herself, head high, heels snapping on the asphalt, acting like she still owned the world. "Excuse me," she barked. "Those men work for the HOA. Release them now." Princess flinched. Caleb just laughed, a low, dangerous sound. Sergeant Harlow raised a hand. "Ma'am, step back." Carla snapped. "I gave them authority to enforce." Elias cut in. "No. You gave them authority to terrorize." Carla froze, eyes landing on Princess's bruised cheek. My voice was barely a whisper. "She's a wheelchair user." Carla tried to bluster, but Harlow was already lifting a folder. "Miss Charlotte, we have written evidence connecting you to the assault of a disabled resident, impersonating law enforcement, and conspiracy to commit kidnapping." Carla's face went white as a sheet. You can't. Turn around," Harlow ordered, slapping cuffs on her wrists. The metal clicked, and Princess finally exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for years. As they loaded Carla into the cruiser, she shrieked, "This isn't over." Caleb just shrugged. "It is for you." Suddenly, everything went quiet, like the whole neighborhood finally remembered how to breathe again. Princess rolled over, stopped right between the 3 of us, and just whispered, "You saved me." Elias knelt down beside her, shaking his head. "No. We protected our own." Caleb ruffled her hair. "And we always will." I stood back for a second, looking at my family, at the home we fought for, and for the first time in a long time, I felt something like hope. The sun dipped behind the trees, casting gold on everything. The fake cops were on their way to jail. Carla Charlotte was in cuffs, and Briarwood Ridge felt like it was waking up from a nightmare. Folks peeked out their doors, whispers running down the block. People always say heroes are born, But sometimes they're just the people who show up and refuse to let fear win. So what do you think? Did those fake cops and their queen get what they deserved? If it was your sister, heck, if it was your neighbor, what would you have done? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear every wild, angry, or hopeful story you've got. Because if there's one thing I learned, it's that justice isn't just for the brave. It's for anybody willing to stand up, even when the whole world says sit down. Hit like, share this story, and let's get a real conversation going about what's right, what's wrong, and what you'd risk to protect the people you love.